All right. Hey, mamas. Welcome back to the Mom Brew, your safe place for strong coffee, strong moms, and real talk. I'm Becca, and today we'll be tackling something every mom knows all too well, that sneaky little monster called mom guilt. Now, before we get into all of that, listen, seriously, I'm going to need spring 2026 to get here as soon as possible. And also, excuse me, could we please have a talk and pray to all the gods? Because, girl, it has most definitely been one trying and hectic couple of weeks on this ranch. So, long story short, my house has been completely falling apart. And it's just been giving me one hell of a time since I bought it back in September. And let's get y'all filled on what's been happening. So, first, it started off with my fan motor in my furnace going out and this really awful loud clunking noise coming out of my furnace. So that was real fun. And the pocketbook loved that as well, because lo and behold, it had to be completely replaced. But during all of that, it kind of gave me a sense of comfort because the wife and I decided to turn it into a time that we could go back to being teenagers and have a sleepover in the living room together on the air mattress and snuggle with a bunch of blankets. So we did our best to turn lemons into lemonade. But then the next thing you know, the hot water heater needed to be completely replaced because that went out and the pocketbook continued to get extra love. And just when I laid the pocketbook down for a good needed rest, here comes a busted pipe that needed replaced, and also here comes Miss Flu 2026. And she decides to come in, and as you can hear, I still have that lingering, um, you know, little frog in my throat. But she decided to come knocking on the door and just invited herself in. So here we are with a puking and coughing and snotty toddler because, well, she's now in preschool and we all know how that goes. She's hanging out with a bunch of germ infested little bugs all day and she's now bringing home every sickness and bug known to man. And then what do you know? Guess who gets it next? Yep, y'all guessed it. Both mamas. Ugh. But look, we seem to have gotten everything fixed and finally kicked Flu 2026 out. And she still wants to kind of linger around, but we're getting there slowly but surely. So, with all that said, it's time to get back down to business. And the mom brew is back up and kicking. And now all we can do is pray and cross our fingers and toes that nothing else happens. So, hopefully, we're ready to rock with no disruptions. So, anywho's, momming on. So, this week we are going to discuss the mom guilt. And I can completely more than understand, more than anybody, how nasty and crucial and even how crippling mom guilt can be sometimes. But that mom guilt, yeah, we're tossing in the trash this week. But right after this cup of coffee. So grab your favorite cup, sit down, squat down, or lie down, and settle in and let's get into it. So let me start off by telling you about last week. And here's where I give my juicy mom life details. It's our momming happens moment. So I don't know if this is just myself, and I'm sure it isn't because sometimes it just feels like it is. But have any of you members ever been shopping in the store, needed something for yourself, but then instantly got the crippling mom guilt that you shouldn't buy that or you can hold off a little longer, or buying something that you want, need for yourself because you immediately think that you could use that money for something just a little more important, or that you could use that money for something more for your children, or think to yourself, gee, what about that toy that, my child really wanted a couple days ago that you just had to tell them no because you couldn't get it at the time for whatever the reason was? Yeah, okay, well, this is this mama all the time. My mom guilt is absolutely horrible. And just a couple weeks ago, I was at the point of walking around in flip flops and slides all winter long just because I didn't want to spend the extra money on myself on buying myself a pair of winter boots. And as we all know, in all honesty, I desperately needed those because I just couldn't get the racing mom guilt thoughts out of my head that I could just hold off. I didn't need them right now. What if my child was going to need something or want something more? I mean, I could go on and on for days. It gets a little crazy, but I ended up biting the bullet and actually bought the boots because a huge thanks to the wife, but she had me understand that just because I'm a mom doesn't mean that I don't have needs too, and that it was totally okay to buy the boots that I truly needed. Because also, let's be so for real, she would have been the one to hear me moan and groan about how cold my feet were all winter due to walking around in flip flops and slides. So that's just our real life mama moments. And the truth is, mom guilt hits us all at some point, no matter how hard we try. So let's get down to it and let's talk solutions. Let me give you three quick ways to kick that mom guilt to the curb. First, let's set boundaries. Let's say yes to ourselves sometimes because it's not selfish, it's necessary. Secondly, let's celebrate the small wins. Let's think about the snack we packed, the bedtime we nailed, and let's own it. And thirdly, let's do soft self talk resets. Let's replace guilt with encouragement and look in the mirror and tell yourself, I'm doing my best and that's enough. And let me be honest, it's going to definitely take some time, but you got this. I promise you'll get there. And remember, Rome wasn't built in a day and it wasn't destroyed in a day either. So let's keep that in mind. So, again, momming on. Here's where I want to throw in something in this week's episode and do a coffee confession challenge. And I want you all to send me your funniest or most relatable mom guilt moment on YouTube or TikTok at the Mom Brew. And maybe I'll read them in the next episode. Anonymous, of course, unless you would like me to share your name. And if you do, share your name and your state, and I'll give you a shout out. So here's your takeaway, mama. Guilt is normal, but it doesn't define you. You are enough, you are doing enough, and you deserve a coffee break for yourself. So follow the podcast if you haven't already. Share with a mama friend that could use a coffee fueled inspiration. And let's normalize celebrating our wins while laughing at the chaos. So thank you for sipping again with me on this beautiful day. And this is the Mom Brew, where strong moms meet strong coffee. Until next time, keep hustling, keep sipping, and remember, you got this. We'll catch y'all later.